Sales is a noble profession. This is my belief. I believe it to my core. Many people think sales is maybe even sort of a low status job. And they have that experience or at least that perception, because of what they've probably experienced in the past in regards to salespeople. The real way to think about a sales role is that you are writing your own paycheck. Traditional jobs will limit your income based on hourly rates or fixed salaries with the occasional being thrown a bone of a bonus. Sales allows you to free yourself from the limitations of others that way. You like what you do and you want to work hard at it and you're stuck, sales is the way out. Welcome, everyone, to the Close More Sales podcast. Now, it's come to my attention that some of the listeners of this podcast aren't actively in a sales role right now, and I wanted to make an episode on a very specific belief I have around the idea of working in sales. So whether or not you have never had a sales role and are just considering getting into it, are brand new on this path, or you've been doing this for 20 years, I'm going to touch on some pretty important facts, beliefs, and concepts that I want to sort of dive into today. So if you're considering a switch into sales, this episode should be the bump you need in that direction. And if you're a veteran at your sales job, this will be a powerful reminder as to why we do what we do and to hype you up to get back out there and put the work in. I will talk about how many people have this, in my opinion, crazy negative perception of a sales role and selling in general, and how we can change that as a society and as professionals. I will help you position yourself in a state of continuous growth and improvement and get you excited again about the idea of actually being able to write your own paycheck. Because remember, you can't just be told what your time is worth. You can't have a middle manager tell you you're worth this small, measly amount per hour, and that's it. You are in this state right now if you're in a commission sales role. You are able to decide what you want to make with your time through your hard work and your abilities if you get paid commission. A lot of people right now, they're struggling to make ends meet. They're feeling the rising costs of inflation for their expenses combined with the stagnation of their income, and they're hurting because of it. Sales is an antidote to your pain, and it can be done in a way that's not macho, aggressive, and pushy, and makes you feel like you need to take a cold shower after every high-pressure sales tactic. You can help people through conversations all day and then get paid like a doctor as you continue to get better and improve, and that is worth getting excited about. Our purpose, the purpose of this show, is to empower sales professionals and entrepreneurs to push themselves to grow, achieve unimaginable success without burning out, and ultimately transform their lives. I'm Ian Ross, and I am obsessed with all things sales, and I work with teams all across the English-speaking world to make more money by asking better questions. The most proven path to achieving financial freedom is maximizing your earning potential. And a sales role is the lowest barrier with the highest possible ceiling for entry onto that path. Anyone can become a killer salesperson with the right techniques, mindset, and consistency. And everything we cover on this podcast is geared toward one thing: helping you close more sales so that you can live the life you want. We are still growing as a podcast. We're still relatively new. So if you get any value from this episode today, if this is something you want to support, like, subscribe, all that jazz, comment, whatever. Let us know either in the comments on YouTube or in a review where you listen to podcasts. Tell it what it is you got out of the show. Tell us what's actionable for you, and let other people know about this show. Don't keep it a secret. The more listeners we have, the more incentivized I will be to continue to give out crazy value for free. So if you want more of this type of thing, let others know. Because here is the thing. Here is the truth. If you have conversations where how well you speak determines how much money you can make, you are in a sales role. If you'd like to get better at what you do, if you're having conversations where you need to get people to take action and you have to follow up with them, text follow up, FOLLOW space UP to 33777. I hope I spelled that right. I was just riffing off my head. FOLLOW space UP to 33777. And we will send you our free follow-up template on exactly what to say on a follow-up call. So you never have to say, hey, I'm just following up, or hey there, just checking in, ever again. It's an exact guide sheet on exactly what to say on a follow-up call, and we're giving it out for free. So you're never going to be caught off guard there. So let's start with this idea of the negative perception in a sales role and why I think it's so important to change. There's a lot of negative stereotypes right now for sales professionals and salespeople. They're often seen as pushy or dishonest. Many people think sales is maybe even sort of a low status job. And they have that experience or at least that perception, because of what they've probably experienced in the past in regards to salespeople. So if you have a negative experience walking onto a car lot, having someone knock on your door and try and sell you pest control or an alarm system or solar or insurance or anything like that, you're going to start to internalize that negative experience you had as the consumer and apply that to the idea of you having a similar role. But I want to break this down. So there's a famous clip right now on social media, which is another sales trainer asking someone like, if I kidnapped your family and I put a gun to their head, would you be able to sell 50 cars in a month or 100 cars in a month? I forget what number we picked, right? Or what number was said. And the point of that is, yeah, I could if that was set up. And he goes, well, why does your family need to be kidnapped? I don't need to have a gun to their head. You should do that anyway. And the message that's trying to get across there is that you are holding yourself back. That's the message of that. But in that clip, I was talking to someone just last week who's not in sales, and his experience of that clip was very different from what the intended message was. And that's why I think it's important to make sure that I am clear, or I'm doing my very best to be as clear as possible when I'm explaining what I mean by a certain tactic, a certain mindset or belief system. His concern, the guy I was talking to about that clip, is that if you had your family kidnapped and they were threatened to be murdered if you didn't sell a certain number of cars, you would say whatever you needed to say as a salesperson to get someone in that car. You wouldn't care about the consumer because you're so focused on saving your family from these evil car salesman kidnappers. So now you're giving someone the experience of the negative stereotype that salespeople are pushy and they will say whatever they need to say. They will outright lie to you or stretch the truth or overpromise and underdeliver is probably the most common association. But that comes through as like they're dishonest. They're not genuine with me. And people are afraid of that because of messaging like this, not because of the underlying principle that we wanted to talk about, which is that salespeople are holding themselves back. They could choose to sell more if they wanted to. They just haven't made that active choice. That's a clear message. But if you say it through the context of, if your family's kidnapped, they're going to be murdered, now sell as many cars as possible, the consumer, society, has the perception that that salesperson will say whatever he needs to get you in the car, regardless of reality, meaning they will lie to you. And we want to avoid that stereotype, and there's ways to do that. So if you're thinking about this idea of the stereotype that salespeople lie, or at the very least, overpromise and underdeliver, I want to talk about how genuine salesmanship is focused on helping, not pushing. Sales is a noble profession. This is my belief. I believe it to my core. Sales is a noble profession the same way being a doctor, being in the medical field, being a nurse is a noble profession. Just because there's some doctor who pushes opiates because of the financial incentive when he didn't need to, doesn't mean doctors or the medical field in its entirety is filled with scumbags. I believe the same about the professional salesperson. The professional salesperson, their job is to solve your problem, or at least get you in a position where you can choose to have your problem solved and give you the chance to take that action so that you can have a problem solved, so that you can have something fixed, so that you can take action on something that involves spending some type of money to get a result. And if they are focused on whether or not this helps you, and my job as the sales professional is to determine if I think you are the type of person who has the type of budget and has the will and the way to be able to take action on this thing, to get the help, then all I got to do is be able to do everything in my power to get you to see that yourself within the confines of trying to help you, not trying to sell every single person who walks through my door because my family's kidnapped and I don't want my family to get murdered. This is a really key distinction. It seems minor. Maybe it seems like I'm nitpicking some social media clip outside of the context of like, who cares about this? But the reason I'm picking on this is because that aligns with how the public views sales people. A sales professional is someone who helps. This is a noble profession. So if you feel squeamish about getting into sales because you don't want to associate with those people, well, don't associate with those people. But it's not the profession itself that is the problem. Understand that the right way to help people is to be ethical. It's not to lie. It's not to overpromise. It's not to push and talk in a way where you're masking the truth. In fact, I was just talking to an investment advisor regarding some property in a foreign country just the other day. And one of the things that stood out to me about that experience, because they were going to charge a pretty exorbitant fee regarding that consultation and other services in the future. And one of the things that stood out to me in that process is that they were very direct about all the negatives in moving forward with them. They said, hey, let's talk about what could go wrong. Let's talk about why this wouldn't work. Let's talk about some uncomfortable topics now so that we don't have to deal with this later. My sensation in what is essentially a sales call, because I had not paid them yet for the end of this consultative approach, my sensation was that they are being honest with me and are genuinely helping me. By talking about what would go wrong, I inherently trusted them more. What makes people on guard? Oh, this car is perfect. Pay no attention to the mileage. It's like it's brand new. It's the best thing you've ever seen. Yada, yada, yada. Sure. Okay. Oh, this car, it's the Rolls Royce of Toyotas, right? Like that stuff is it's absolute garbage. The consumer is now overeducated enough and has seen enough of these tactics that they're at best rolling their eyes, not letting it blow up the sale. But you're not convincing people with that line of talking or that line of pushing the benefits of this product. Instead, if they go, this is a great car, but it's got more miles on it. Are you sure you want something with that many miles? Because here's what can happen if you get something with this many miles, if you're planning on having it a long time. And they talk about the negatives, you now inherently trust that person enough that when they make a recommendation, it's more believable. And so I experienced this on my own. And there's my being the consumer there, being the prospect, I knew that they were not pushing anything on me that would not be to my benefit because of how open and honest they were about what didn't work. You can help people ethically in a sales role and make a ton of freaking money doing it without seeming like a slimy, lying, short scumbag. So keep that in mind, okay? I want to turn this negative perception around. Ignore this idea that you have to be a certain type of way, you have to have a certain type of personality, you have to get macho, you have to be obsessed with push-ups to be able to be a great salesperson. It's not true. Another point here, and the real meat of this, and why I love sales so much, certainly with commission-only roles, or at least commission-focused roles, because I'm aware there's different types of sales roles. I say at the start, if you have conversations where how well you're paid determines how much money you can make, you're in a sales role. That's true, but not every role is as commission-based with uncapped earning potential. Some people have targets, and then there's bonuses, and then there's a cap on that target, right? So I'm aware that there's variability. But for the most part, across the broadest range of sales roles, most industries have sales roles within them where you have uncapped earnings, meaning as good as you are and how hard you work are the main determining factors as to the upper echelons of your income, which means you have more or less unlimited income potential. If there's commission at all in your work, whether you're a real estate agent, you're selling insurance, selling high-ticket stuff, info products, whatever you're doing, your hard work directly translates to higher income. As you get better and have better skills, it directly translates to higher income. If you've worked in hourly wage jobs or even salaried roles before, what you will find is that as you get better, you've now leveled up, your income is the same for the next 7 months until you can maybe beg your manager for some type of measly promotion. I'm being a little extreme, of course, but I know so many people who are going through a sensation like this. So now what do they have to do? Now I got to change roles and go to a different company because I'm not going to level up as my skills get better. I'm going to have to switch jobs all the time, and maybe I got to move to a different city. And that's fine if that's your goal, but if you're forced into it because you can't get paid enough as your skills and hard work goes up, in my opinion, you're in the wrong boat. You're in the wrong boat, meaning how hard you row in any particular boat should determine if you row harder and get stronger, you should be able to make more. But if you are rowing as hard as you can and you're finding as you row hard that you're getting stronger, your skills are going up, your ability to do your job is getting better, and you're barely making any more money from a raise, or maybe you don't have a raise at all, you're just stuck, that means you're in the wrong boat. What I love about sales is that, for the most part, again, the boat you are in is not limited extremely by your industry and your exact role. Extremely. They're obviously, the boat itself is how if you get stronger and row harder, you'll go farther. You'll make more money. You might be in the wrong body of water, but the boat itself, being in a sales role, is the power of how much you make and how good you are at it is entirely up to you. So to me, if you have an income problem, an active income problem, then learning to get good at sales and embracing that you're helping people, not forcing something down their throat. If I can get good at how to help people and then I get paid more, the harder I work and the better I get, you get to know now that your limitations are your fault. If you're not performing well, if you're not making as much money as you want, it's your fault. And a lot of people don't like that. I freaking love it. I want it to be my fault, and you should too. It's empowering for it to be your fault. So empowering, I'm spitting a little bit. It's empowering if you are the one responsible for your success. If you're waiting for handouts, if you're waiting for the promotion, if you're waiting for a measly little raise every year, you are in the wrong boat. Certainly if you're someone who likes to get better and likes to do well at what they do. If you believe in hard work, if you like what you do and you want to work hard at it, and you're stuck, sales is the way out. So I just make sure that point is hit home. It maybe sounds fantastical for those of you not in sales. And if you're in sales right now and you're not performing as well as you want, you're blaming marketing, you're blaming the leads, you're blaming interest rates, you're blaming outside circumstances. Embrace that it's your fault. Embrace it and then get better to compensate. Another benefit of sales, there's an aspect, if you're good at it, of flexibility. And flexibility for a lot of people translates to a type of freedom, right? If you are really, really good as a sales professional, first off, you can get hired almost anywhere. Any company that requires selling in some way, shape, or form will want to hire you. It's the most recession-proof role I can imagine. And it also is existing across time. As AI gets better, I don't even care if it's conversational AI over the phone. People will still there'll be regulations, they'll have to acknowledge they're talking to an AI or the company will get in trouble. So then they're not going to want to talk about a high ticket or an expensive item to an AI. They're going to want to talk to a person to make sure they can have their questions answered. There will always be a need for salespeople. At a certain price point in a certain industry, there will always be a need for a human being to want to talk to another human being for a larger transaction. And so if that's always going to be there and you're good at it, it means any company is going to want you if you're really good at it. And if any company wants you, you have incredible flexibility. And flexibility, more or less in the active income world, in your job, equates to a level of freedom. You get to choose how hard you want to work. I like working hard at this, and that's a choice. It's not an accident. I don't have to. I like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the battle, the direct correlation to self-improvement and making more money. The battle, by the way, is not the battle with the prospect. It's the battle in the grind of sales. I don't fight with my prospects. That's to be clear. Because I know some people who talk that way. It's like me versus the prospect, and I hate that type of framing. It's the internal battle. It's the struggle to get better. And I like that as sales is a representation of that idea. If you have some flexibility and any places want you, then you get to live the life you want, which is the goal of this podcast, right? You're helping people through conversations as well. It's not through, an actual war. It's not through a confrontation. It's not through even anything that physical for the most part, maybe unless you're selling personal training or something like that. For the most part, this is a conversational experience. So if I'm solving a problem for a potential client through strategic conversations, the feeling you get if you can actually help someone by providing the right solution is profound. It's amazing. I love it. It excites me. It excites me almost as much as the incredible paychecks you can get at the same time, right? Because money is also a representation of freedom. So not only do you have more flexibility in where you want to work and how much, but by being paid a lot, you have another aspect of freedom. So you have freedom via flexibility in your work and freedom through having access to more money and being able to make as much as you want. It's a great life if you can get into it. It's not truly for everyone because some people just can't handle the idea of having conversations with people. If you're the most introverted person in the entire world and don't like money enough to want to get into it, or are good enough at a different skill, a different type of job that can pay you a lot of money, that's fine. Maybe it isn't for you. But if what I'm saying at all interests you, if it gives you any level of like, yeah, I think I could get good at that, or yeah, I'm good at that, now I think I can get great at that. If that is you, embrace it. Don't shy away. Yeah, I'm in sales. Oh, okay, don't sell me. Embrace it. I am a sales professional. I am a professional problem solver, and I help people through conversations for a living. Don't let therapists dominate the conversational helping space. It's truly the sales professionals. It's Jeb Blunt who's talked about this, that salespeople are the business athletes of the world, right? They're the athletes of the business world because through their work and how hard they work at what they do. And as they get better, they level up even more and they go to the next level, the next league. As you improve, your money goes up and you drive revenue for companies across the world. Salespeople move the world. I love this general industry of having conversations to get people to take action. The problem is that you've been trained poorly. The problem is that you've been taught to say a certain line. You've been taught to ask a certain question, but you don't actually understand the reason why. You don't understand the deeper emotional causes behind it that causes someone to take action. That's not necessarily a you problem, at least not until you know. If you don't know that you're lacking that is a sales training problem. That's why I'm a sales trainer, because I want to fix this problem. But once you are aware of this, once you know, now it is a you problem. You can decide to get better at communication skills and negotiation skills. You can push and constantly learn and improve. I talked about this on a different podcast before, which is that sales is the most perfect representation of personal development and personal improvement. As you get better at this, you make more money. It's measurable. And this doesn't happen in business all the time. You talk to business owners all the time. I talk to them and I hear a few things, which is like, yeah, we're scaling and now profit's taking a hit, or now I've had to cut back on what I got paid, or now we're in a different slump because we're changing industries or we're changing the product. Business is not as closely correlated on the broader sphere of business with personal improvement and getting better and income like a sales role is, because you are directly responsible for yourself. As you scale and hire new people, now suddenly something drops down. So it requires a longer time horizon to see that results in business. With sales, as you get better right now, you make more money tomorrow. Okay, it's like I love this about it. So if you read personal development books, if you watch a podcast to try and get inspired, if you're the type of person who listens to motivational speeches on YouTube before going outside to have a tough day, if you like personal development, if you like getting better, the feeling of improving, sales is the representation of that through making money. It's directly correlated to how good you are is what your paycheck is. And if you could be amazing and then you're not actually doing the work, your paycheck drops down too. So it is this also continuous through line of not just your skill, but also how hard you work. And it's directly measurable. I love this. Embrace it. It's exciting. This is a good thing about sales. I believe this to my core. So I just wanted to touch on that. Okay. There are plenty of sales professionals out there who increase their income naturally over time, but I really wanted to make you understand that the real way to think about a sales role is that you are writing your own paycheck. Okay? Traditional jobs will limit your income based on hourly rates or fixed salaries with the occasional being thrown a bone of a bonus. Sales allows you to free yourself from the limitations of others that way. There's an excitement in knowing that your hard work directly impacts your earnings. Embrace the challenges you face and embrace the opportunities. Sales is an awesome vehicle for that type of idea. So please, the mindset to get into this, to thrive in a commission-based environment involves making sure you are constantly learning and improving, right? We've got this line here, which is like, is sales training something we did or something we do? Sales training should be something you do. People know this through other realms, right? Like through athletics. I was talking about that salespeople are the athletes of the business world. Actual athletes don't just give up their training and their development once they've made money, once they've made it to the big leagues. Think about someone working on a golfer, let's say. Think of a golf guy, a professional in the PGA Tour. Once he's got his PGA card, does he stop working on his golf swing? No, of course not. Does he fire his coach immediately? I'm a pro now. I don't need a coach. I'm good. I've learned enough to get into the PGA Tour. For some reason, we separate the soft skill of conversation with the physical act of doing a sport. But it's the same idea. You need to constantly be working at this and getting better. I'm doing this all the time. Everyone I know who's good at sales is always trying to get better. So invest in yourself. Invest in training. Invest in personal development. Leverage free resources if you need to. If it's not investing money, invest your time. Invest your energy. Listen to podcasts like this. Read books. Pay attention. Buy a course. Do a course for free. Watch something on YouTube. Do something to get better. Understand that if you are responsible for your earnings, if you can write your own paycheck, you better invest in the right type of thing and invest in it consistently. The right type of thing is training for yourself, but so many people will do one or two things and give up. Do it consistently. Do it consistently. Training is something you do. And if the training you signed up for is all about high pressure tactics from guys in tight little shorts shouting at you like they're a drill instructor, run for the hills, because that's not what sales is about. Okay? Forget the negative perception of sales. Understand that you're solving problems via conversations. This is the benefit of working in sales. You have unlimited potential income. You've got flexibility and freedom as you get better. You're helping people, and it's a perfect vehicle, a representation of personal growth. If you can write your own paychecks, you can write your own level of freedom. Okay? Embrace this idea. Sales is a noble profession. Say it with me. If you're listening to me in your headphones in the gym, shout it out. Sales is a noble profession, okay? And you should have confidence in taking action in this sales career. This is an awesome thing that you're in if you're in this right now. And if you're considering it, please take the jump. Take the leap. It is worth it. I believe this so wholeheartedly. I've said that like 6 times because it's so ingrained in me. I love sales. I'm a weirdo for it, fine. But get started, get better, and write your own paycheck and tell me you disagree. If you want to get better over time, if you want to make sure that you know what to say when you're following up with people in a sales role, text follow-up, FOLLOW space UP to 33777. We'll send you our follow-up template for free on exactly what to say on a follow-up call, to how to start it, no matter what the circumstances are. Take action on this. I love sales. If you are considering a job, if you're feeling burned out, if you're tired out, embrace it. This is an awesome opportunity. Write your own damn paycheck. You can do this right now. I'm Ian Ross. This has been the Close More Sales Podcast.